This has been a huge week in politics. Join us as we run down everything from the Iowa caucus's disaster to President Trump's acquittal.
GC has a new machine that is giving glass bottles a new purpose.
Saying goodbye to a legend. GC athletes remember Kobe Bryant. Hello and welcome to GC360, where news comes full circle. I'm Ross Thompson.
And I'm Maddie Holtz. We bring you news from the Georgia College campus and across the Milledgeville community. Let's get right to our top story.
It's been a monumental week in American politics. On Monday, Democrats in Iowa gathered for a caucuses in what should have been the first indication of the relative popularity of candidates vying to run against President Trump in November.
Instead, a botched vote continuing system was made and the results a muddle.
On Tuesday night, President Trump delivered his State of the Union address.
And on Wednesday afternoon, President Donald Trump was acquitted by the Senate in his impeachment trial.
Our political reporter went out to the streets of Milledgeville earlier in the week to gather opinions on the Iowa caucuses.
Hi, I'm Kat Capstick for GC360. It's Wednesday now, and the results of the Monday night Iowa caucuses are only 71% in, with Pete Buttigieg taking a slight lead at 26% of the votes over Bernie Sanders, who has 25%. Now, we're still waiting on the full results, but it's looking like it's going to come out between Buttigieg, Sanders, with Warren in third and Biden in fourth.
I've heard Buttigieg was in the lead, but I've also heard Bernie's in the lead, and then all of the candidates gave victory speeches, so I'm I don't think they know who won. So, and also Trump should be removed from office, but he's not going to, so that's my opinions.
Before the acquittal vote in the Senate, we asked the people of Milledgeville about Trump's impeachment and the State of the Union address.
What are your thoughts, on the State of the Union overall?
He laid out a lot of facts, and I'm an analytical person. I like facts to do my analysis, and I think his current administration is doing a lot of good, and unfortunately a lot of the media wants to point out the bad things or the things that don't agree with their policies.
And what do you think about his impeachment?
I can't wait till it falls through. Even though I don't think it's going to fall through, I think he's going to do fulfill his full term, and it's going to go down as questionable impeachment, but I don't think it's going to happen.
All right.
There you have it, a very unscientific sampling of varying opinions in Milledgeville.
There was no mistaking where people stood on Tuesday night at the Pickle Barrel. Members of the Baldwin County Republican Party gathered to watch President Trump's State of the Union address. There was an outpouring of support for many of the president's statements, including mentions of the economy, jobs, the rejection of health care for illegal immigrants, and banning third trimester abortions. Mr. Trump also brought out numerous guests, including a Tuskegee Airman, a single mother trying to raise money for her child's college fund, a serviceman who reunited with his family, and even radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh, who was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom during the speech. Supporters at the Pickle Barrel cheered and applauded at times throughout the address.
Flu season is here, and GC's campus has been highly affected this semester. Wellness Center Director Britt McCrae reports that the Wellness Center has seen 89 confirmed cases of the flu so far this semester. That's a huge increase over the 6 cases reported all of last semester. Students are urged to wash their hands when possible and avoid touching their eyes, ears, and mouth with their hands. Students who need to get vaccines can stop by the Student Health Center Mondays through Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Students can be vaccinated for free, and the cost is $20 for faculty and staff. An accident last week involving a student sparked a petition drive for better safety standards. GC360's Gabrielle Duchateau has the story.
Last Tuesday night, January 28th, GCSU student Jenna L. Cuddy was hit by a car driven by Jordan Elizabeth Boyd in the crosswalk on West Montgomery Street in front of Beeson Hall. According to the Georgia State Patrol, Boyd said she slowed down to allow L. Cuddy to cross the street, but her vision was obstructed by headlights from a truck traveling in the opposite direction. This is when the pedestrian was struck by the vehicle. The driver was cited for failure to yield and was given a warning for having an expired tag. In response to the accident, junior mass communication major Merritt Dismuke created a petition calling for blinking pedestrian lights at the crosswalk to allow pedestrians to cross the street safely. After 7 days, the petition gained more than 2,800 signatures.
been wanting to make this petition since freshman year. I actually knew the last person who was involved in an incident at this particular crosswalk, and so it got kind of personal. And immediately I went to change.org and thought that something needed to be done, so that's when I decided to make the petition.
The West Montgomery Street crosswalk is heavily traveled. Georgia College Police Chief Brett Stenell said, quoting,
in the last year, since last February, I am aware that there have been 4. One of the concerns, obviously from the petition, is that this is the second one that's
Elle Katie was treated and released from a hospital for her injuries. She told GC360 that she's focusing on her recovery and doesn't want to say any more else publicly. We're going to take a quick break.
When we return, learn how GC is giving old glass bottles a new life.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Campaigning for SGA elections will begin this coming Monday, February 10th. SGA has not released the names of the candidates yet. They will be running for president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. Candidates must be students in good standing with no judicial records on their records. They also must have at least a 2.75 GPA. A candidates debate will be held in the coming weeks. The week before elections, the SGA officer elections for the 2020-2021 school year will be held on February 19th through February 21st.
GC recently unveiled a new machine that will change the way glass bottles are being recycled. GC360's Alec DuBois has all the details.
Next to West Campus Garden in the John Kurtz baseball field is a building that is now home to one of Georgia College's most exciting additions to campus. A machine that turns glass waste such as bottles into usable sand for recreational and industrial uses. The project was spearheaded by two-time SGA President Amelia Lord and former SGA Director of Environmental Affairs Cameron Skinner.
It was my freshman year, and I was looking for ways to make Georgia College more sustainable, and we've never been able to recycle glass, and this seemed like a really cool, innovative way to do it.
I was connected with the Office of Sustainability as a student, being an intern there, and so I was very aware of the funds that were available through the sustainability fee, which is a $5 per semester fee that all students pay. And so it's money for students that students have to request, and I thought this was a good way to go about getting a glass recycling program started on campus.
The process begins with a machine that first breaks down the glass waste into crushed glass. The machine has a collection bucket at the bottom, which is subsequently dumped into the second machine, which will then further crush that glass and sort the finished products into different grades of sand. The different grades of sand will accumulate into different buckets around the second machine, as each grade has a different purpose. All done! The first layer in the machine sorts out all impurities caught in the process, mostly paper labels. This goes into the grade 1 bucket. Next comes the second grade in the machine. This is the coarsest sand that it produces, and it will be used in landscaping for soil aeration. After that is grade 3 and 4, which can be used intermittently for pool filtration, golf courses, and playgrounds, and much more. Finally, there's the grade 5 bucket. This sand is the finest of the 4 sands and will be used for industrial sandblasting. If you would like to donate your glass waste to be recycled by the new machine, simply drop off your glass at either the Sustainability Office or the Student Government Office. There are hopes to bring and disperse glass collection bins all over campus. However, that effort will require approval of the SGA Senate. It's worth noting, if you are an underage student and you're worried about getting in trouble for bringing in your empty bottle of alcohol, the office is practicing a guilt-free glass policy where no questions will be asked. So get out there and start recycling while having fun. For GC360, I'm Alec Dubois.
When we return from the break, GC athletes reflect on the life of Kobe Bryant.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Hello and welcome back to GC360. It's time for your weekly sports update. I'm Herndon Lee. The spring semester is underway, and that means Georgia College baseball and softball is here. Both sports kicked off their seasons this past weekend. The softball team kicked off their season by beating Shorter at home on Saturday, February 1st, 4-3. The next day, they lost to Montevallo 10-1. The softball team will be home again this weekend for the Bobcat Classic. The baseball team is starting off their season very strong with a 4-0 record with wins over 2 ranked teams in the Division II, the number 20 Mount Olive and the number 1 Tampa. The Bobcats beat West Georgia at home on Wednesday 11-6. The baseball team will be at Augusta this weekend, but will be home in Milledgeville on Friday,
and we'll
February
get down
14th
into right
against
center,
conference rivals Francis
rolling into
Marion.
the gap, but
In national sports news, the tragic death of basketball superstar Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna touched us all. I talked to people in the Georgia College community about it.
So growing up, I liked watching Kobe Bryant. He was one of my favorite players in the NBA. I think his recent passing is very sad, but I think it made us all realize the impact that he had on the game of basketball. And so he always had a really, really hard work ethic, and that's something that his death is going to remind me of, obviously. And it's going to push me to work harder every day.
So to me, Kobe Bryant, he was never really my favorite player. Just him playing on the Lakers and him always really just beating up on the teams that I liked just kind of made me not really like him that much. But at the same time, there was a level of respect that he gained just through how competitive he was and his will to win and how good he was. And I didn't really notice it at the time, but Kobe had become, you know, an influence on my life and on my game and how I played basketball and how I went around doing things in real life. And that's just really evident through his impact throughout the league. And, you know, his death hit me a little harder than I thought it actually would. I didn't think it was going to impact me that much, but it's really just amazing to see people come around, his family and people throughout the basketball world just come together, and it's been a beautiful thing.
So Kobe Bryant to me was, growing up, was my favorite athlete of all time. His determination and his ability to dominate opponents and to memorize their movements and just go out there and play was something I admired a lot about him. Again, his work ethic was like anything else I've ever seen. It inspired me actually to try out to play in football, tackle football for the first time in middle school, and eventually play high school football. Something I also loved about Kobe was his love for his family off the court, and for his passion for basketball on the court, keeping that same fiery passion. Talked about a lot how he was a girl dad, and how he only had girls, and basically there was like an event where his daughter told Kobe that she was going to carry on the legacy, which I thought was really special. It showed the bond that he had with his daughter and how basketball just connects the two. And also, the passing of Kobe is really sad, but something I just found so awesome is that there's millions of people that he's influenced from his determination on the court, and his passion for his family off the court.
That's it for sports. Let's toss it over to Kayla and Katie for hot takes.
Hello, Simon.
And I'm Katie Futch.
And welcome to Hot Takes.
Kayla and I will be telling you all about the latest and greatest things in entertainment this semester.
We are in the middle of a huge season of excitement for sports and entertainment. The Grammys, music's biggest night of the year, took place last weekend, and Billie Eilish became the first artist since 1981 to take home the top 4 Grammys of the night.
Sunday was Super Bowl 54, and we can't talk about that without discussing the performances and commercials. Demi Lovato opened the night singing the national anthem in her second performance since she temporarily stepped out of the spotlight back in 2018.
During the halftime performance, Shakira performed on her birthday alongside Jennifer Lopez. Shakira performed her triple platinum hit, Hips Don't Lie.
Jennifer Lopez brought out her 11-year-old daughter, who stole the show performing Let's Get Loud. The performance also featured several different pro-immigrant parts, spreading a positive political message.
Aside from showstopper performances, we also saw some pretty great commercials.
The game featured tons of new trailers for movies, as well as some pretty clever marketing schemes. Here are some of our favorites.
Starting out, we had Pringles teaming up with the popular Adult Swim cartoon Rick and Morty to give us a self-aware ad in which Rick and Summer become aware that they are in a Pringles ad, and the world around them begins to glitch because it's an alternate dimension.
Google had us all up in our feels with their ad featuring the voice of an old man asking Google to help him remember his wife Loretta and different things about her. We wonder if Google isn't trying to make us forget that they're collecting all our data and using it to make a fortune.
Finally, to finish things up, one of the biggest ads of this game came from the company Planters, the company that brought us Mr. Peanut. The company actually built up to this ad weeks in advance by actually killing off their mascot and even going as far as to change all of their social media to say the estate of Mr. Peanut.
Then the ad during the game showed Mr. Peanut's funeral with distinguished guests such as Mr. Clean and the Kool-Aid Man. A tear falls off the Kool-Aid Man's cheek and onto the grave, causing the sun to come out, and out of the new grave comes the newest phenomenon, Baby Nut. It goes without saying that this game brought us lots of memorable moments.
And that's it for Hot Takes this week.
Stay with us. Gabby will be here with the weather after the break.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to your weather update. I'm Gabrielle Duchateau. It's been a pretty terrible day with the tornado watch in place in Baldwin County until 5 p.m. and a flash flood watch until 9:15 p.m. So stay alert. It's the very beginning of February and it's still officially winter, but the weather has felt more like early spring with a slight hint of winter. Puxatawney Phil did see a shadow and predicted an early spring, but I don't think anyone thought it would be this early. So far this month, temperatures have ranged all the way from a near freezing 34 degrees to a humid 72 degrees, and weather ranging from spontaneous tornadoes to beautiful sunny days. Let's see how this weekend weather will compare to the rest of February. I hope no one has gotten too comfortable wearing shorts in February, because on Friday, the rain will bring cooler temperatures, mostly sunny with a low of 34 degrees and a high of 51 degrees. After the storm passes, there will be a 0% chance of rain, but humidity will be at 57%. Warning: in addition to the tornado watch, there will be a flash flood warning. Now for Saturday weather. For Saturday, the high will be 60 degrees and a low of 40 degrees. The humidity will be at 62% and the precipitation will be at 20%. And so it's going to be partly cloudy, and it will be slightly warmer temperatures than Friday. Now let's move on to Sunday weather. Sunday, there will be a high of 67 and it will be a nice and sunny day. Sunday seems to prove that the Groundhog Day theory that we're getting in early spring, with temperatures steadily rising throughout the weekend. A sunny day with the low temperature at 45 degrees and the high at 67. The chance of rain lowers to 10% and the humidity rises to 67. Despite the fact that we are recovering from a storm this weekend, we have a generally good weekend ahead of us weather-wise. That's it for me. On Tuesday, I'll be reporting your weather for the week. And remember, stay alert to the weather today. Stay dry, Bobcats. Let's toss it back to the desk.
I'm Frankie Mastris. Welcome to GC360 Entertainment. The Oscars are coming up this Sunday, and we have an inside look on which movies GC students are rooting for. Here's Caroline Hearn with a preview.
Hey Hey guys, it's C. As some of you may know, the Oscars are coming up in 2 weeks, so I took the time to ask a couple of GC students if they knew any of the movies that had been nominated for Best Picture. Let's take a look and see what they said.
I have no idea what was nominated actually.
Not really. I can't even tell you, honestly.
Not off the top of my head, nah. What movies are nominated for the Oscars?
I don't know what movies are.
Okay, so for those of you who do not know any of the movies that have been nominated, the list is as follows. 1917, Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story. Out of all of the movies nominated this year for Best Picture, there was one that GC students seemed to have a particular interest in, Joker. Let's see what our peers had to say about this adaptation.
The Joker was pretty intense.
I didn't love the story, but I could definitely see what they were going for.
Unfortunately, Joker.
I actually really liked it. I liked their take on the mental health side, because I have a family member who struggles with that.
It's held up as this like great performance piece, and it's really from what I've seen, not a great performance.
Joker, we've seen him as the Joker forever, but we never get to see how he became the Joker.
It's a comment on society, man. And it's like, dude, come on.
I thought it was a cool movie. Talked about mental health. Kind of showed a different aspect of that side of it that you didn't really see in like Batman movies and stuff.
Like the king of comedy was already a thing, and this is just a worse version of that. You know what I mean?
Make sure you tune into the Oscars February 9th at 8:00 p.m. to see who takes home the prize for Best Picture. More updates to come. Thanks for watching. I'm C, and this is GC360 Entertainment.
Have you ever wondered what is there to do in Milledgeville? Our reporter went out into the community to find out.
Hi, and welcome to GC360's There's Nothing to Do in Milledgeville. But wait, there is. Today we're exploring the Oconee River Greenway. Join us as we find out what there is to do here. Milledgeville is known as the antebellum capital of Georgia. The city is a polished blend of pre-Civil War history paired with a youthful vibrancy of a bustling college town. One of Milledgeville's gems is the Oconee River Greenway. The Oconee River Greenway Park and River Walk offers trails, paths, and a boardwalk to walk, jog, bicycle, relax, and enjoy.
I walk. I come out here quite frequently, probably about 3 days a week, sometimes 4. I accumulate 1 mile to 2 miles, depending on how I'm feeling in the weather. I love coming out here because there's nature. You hear the frogs, the birds, the river. That's God's creation. You just can't take that away. And that's the reason why I enjoy coming out to the Greenway.
With almost 3 miles of paths and trails, the Greenway is a great place to take a stroll with a furry friend at the dog park or jogging with friends. The Greenway offers multiple individual fishing stations and even a boat ramp. So if you're ever wondering what is there to do in Milledgeville, just think of the outdoor fun you can have at the Oconee River Greenway Park. From GC360, I am Ana Paula Sanchez.
That's all today for GC360. Join us Tuesday for our next show. I'm Frankie Mastras.
I'm Ross Johnson.
And I'm Maddie Holtz. When we're not on air, we keep you up to date on our social media pages. Facebook.com/GC360, at GC360 on Twitter and Instagram, and on our YouTube page, YouTube.com/GC360.
Always available to you, GC360, where news comes full circle.